Thank God, now it is already the day of Tisha B'Av. We are already past midday and approaching the time of Mincha. Elijah was only answered at the time of Mincha. We too are hoping and waiting to be answered at this Mincha and to merit seeing the rebuilding of Jerusalem. So with God's help, let's say a few words on the topic of consolation. Now consolation begins. We have risen from the floor. We sit on chairs, and in essence, the elevation of the Shechinah begins. And even though at this very hour the temple was destroyed, as the Gemara says, now the elevation of the Shechinah begins. We sit on the ground. The Perach de Koretz writes that the reason we sit on the ground on Tisha B'Av is because we are descending to sit with the Shechinah on the earth. That's why it's done at night. Anyone who caught themselves at night, cried and shared in the Shechinah's sorrow, merits the greatest spiritual attainments of the entire year. Why? Because now is the time. As we said in the lesson we had in Yeruham, now is the time when the Shechinah is present. The king is in the field, the king is fleeing, the king is not in his palace, and anyone can approach the king. And also, for most of the night, we reach the place of the Shechinah, the lowest place, and whoever managed to spend this day together with the Shechinah merits the greatest and highest levels. And now, there is already an elevation of the Shechinah. The soul of the Messiah has been born above all. In the last lesson, we spoke a bit about the matter of the Messiah, about the coming of the soul of the Messiah, and the clarification of this. With God's help, we will say a few things regarding the building of the temple. As usual, this lesson will not be too theoretical. But at the beginning of the lesson, we will bring many sources. Now is not the time to analyze all the sources. There are many sources in the books of our sages, especially in the Holy Zohar and among the early commentators. All kinds of opinions, all kinds of approaches, all kinds of explanations. But we will clarify the matter and the depth of the subject of the temple. Who knows the temple? Will the building of the temple be the work of human hands, or will it be the work of the Holy One? Blessed be He. Of course, everything is through the power of the Holy One, blessed be He. But the question is whether in practice it will be done by us, that we will build the temple, or by the Holy One, blessed be He. If someone can bring me the Rambam, the last section from the Laws of Kings. It is well known, the saying of our sages, which is brought in Tanit, page 11, chapter 28. The sanctuary, O Lord, which your hands have established. It is written in the Midrash that the temple, not the temple, it is written in the Midrash. So I have it here. The temple is not built by human hands, but by His hand alone, as it is said, the sanctuary, O Lord, which your hands have established. And it is said, awesome is the Lord, awesome is God, your sanctuary. What does this mean? That the temple is not the work of human hands, but the work of the Holy One, blessed be He. The Holy One, blessed be He, built the temple. He builds and sustains the temple in this world. As written in Midrash Chupat Eliyahu in Otzar HaMidrashim, 7 things preceded the world. Torah, Eden, Gehenna, Messiah's name, throne of glory, repentance, and the temple. This list appears in several places, but it also mentions the order. The temple is called the Lord's sanctuary, built by His hands. Midrash Pirkei Moshe says that when Moses ascended tomorrow before his death, the Holy One brought him up and he saw the Holy One. He brought him up to the heavens to see the reward of the righteous and the Holy One, blessed be He. He sees the Holy One, blessed be He, building the temple. He saw the Holy One, blessed be He. This remains in the Midrash. And he saw the Holy One, blessed be He, building the temple with precious stones and gems, that the Holy One, blessed be He, is building the temple with His own hands. And in fact, this is known from the words of Rashi. This is from the Gemara in the tractate. And first of all, for those familiar with this Rashi, let's clarify a bit the topic, how Rashi arrived at this conclusion. Rashi and Tosafot. There is a Gemara in Tractate Rosh Hashanah, page 30, where the Gemara discusses the matter of Chadash, new grain. Now, it is a bit more permissible to engage in words of Torah. The matter of the prohibition of Chadash, new grain. The matter of the prohibition of Chadash is that from the day after Passover, on the day after the first day of Passover, they bring the Omer offering. On the second day of the festival, as it were, after the holiday, they bring the Omer, and from the time they bring it, it is forbidden to eat any of the new grain until then. When they bring the Omer offering, then it becomes permissible to eat all the new grain of that year, but only after the Omer offering has been brought. Yes, the sages recite, I won't say this at the beginning of the chapters, it is permitted to eat from the old grain at this time. At this time, it would seem it is only permitted when the Omer offering has been brought. In this time, when there is no Omer offering, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai decreed that the entire day of the waving is forbidden. The day of waving is the day that Omer is brought. A festival day, the second day of Passover, the 16th of Nisan, it is forbidden to bring. It is completely forbidden to eat from the new grain until the end of the day. Why? Seemingly, in our time, when there is no temple and no Omer offering, then as soon as the day arrives, the obligation is resolved, the prohibition is lifted, and it should be possible to eat the Omer offering. It should be possible to eat the new grain, even though there is no Omer, because there is no offering. So why, in our time, did Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai decree that the entire day is forbidden?
Because of a fast.
So then Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai says, why? Lest the temple be rebuilt. Or why? This is the language of the Gemara. The Gemara says the temple will be rebuilt speedily. The temple will be rebuilt soon. God willing, soon, amen. When the temple is rebuilt, eating grain will be forbidden. And then what will happen? People who didn't know that the temple was rebuilt, what will happen? They will think that last year there was a certain rule. Last year we ate from the new grain on the 16th of Nisan. Why? Because there was no temple, there was no Omer offering. Yes. So since there was no Omer offering, that's why this year too we'll eat, and they don't know that it needs to be brought. They didn't know, or they forgot what the Gemara says, that you have to wait until the Omer offering is brought. Yes. So the Gemara asked there, apparently, in what scenario is this talking about? Apparently, in what scenario is this talking about? Is it when the temple was built on the 15th? If the temple was built on the 14th of Nisan, on the 15th of Nisan, on the holiday of Passover, yes, then apparently by the time a person comes to eat, so apparently until the 15th of Nisan, until the time comes when people come to eat the new grain, the temple will already have been built, and the Omer offering will already be brought, and the sacrifice will be offered. So the prohibition should only last until midday. Why is the prohibition for the entire day? Until midday, the prohibition should be until midday. The time for bringing the sacrifice, it should be forbidden to eat. Yes, the new grain according to the Torah. But from midday onward, even if the temple hasn't been built yet, whenever the temple is built, if it is built after midday, it will be permitted to eat because the sacrifice will be offered. Is there anything else? They will bring the sacrifice. So this is what the Gemara asks. The Gemara continues, so the Gemara says it could be that the temple will be built on the 16th of Nisan. No, because then in any case it wouldn't be possible, etc. The Gemara asks, why? In what scenario? Why? In what case could this happen? When the temple is built on the 15th of Nisan, on the 15th. No, I'm saying keep your head focused. When the temple is built on the 15th, but the 15th at night, on the night of the 15th, on the night of the 15th of Nisan. Now what will happen? They won't have enough time to prepare all the necessary arrangements for the sacrifice. The bringing of the offering will be delayed, and it will be brought later in the day than it should be, and it will turn out that people ate before the Omer offering was brought. Of course, this is from the Gemara in Rosh Hashanah. So what then? We have a Gemara in Shevuot on page 14. This is the Gemara in Tractate. This is the Gemara in Tractate Rosh Hashanah, and it's also in Masechet Emei, and also in Menachot 60. So what then? The Gemara in Shevuot says, there is a Gemara in Shevuot on page 14 that deals there with the matter of wanting to expand Jerusalem with God's help. Jerusalem like the city of the deer, as the Gemara in Ketanim says, that it will be stretched with God's help and will spread out to all of the land of Israel and to the entire world, and so on and so forth, as it is written in the words of our sages. So how do we want to add to Jerusalem? We aim to expand Jerusalem with God's help. This is linked to the building of redemption involving several conditions. We must expand beyond Jerusalem's walls, thus extending its holiness. Essentially, Jerusalem has unique levels of holiness and specific laws regarding what is permitted, eaten, or sacrificed. We aim to expand the city. How can we expand the city and consequently also the holiness of Jerusalem? Yes. So the Gemara brings that there are 6 conditions required. There must be a king, a prophet, a high priest, trumpets, a Sanhedrin of 71, 2 thanksgiving offerings, 2 loaves of the thanksgiving offering, and song. To recite this with song and melody, they say songs, they bring Levites and so on. So one of the conditions required to expand the city, as we said, is 2 thanksgiving offerings. You need 2 loaves from the thanksgiving offering. Yes, you need the thanksgiving breads. And the Gemara discusses whether it is possible to bring them from the 2 loaves of Shevuot. Does it have to be this? Is it possible to bring the... Are the students keeping up? You do see. Are you keeping up? Is it possible to bring the offering? It's okay, it's part of the process and everything is fine, but it's forbidden. Things related to destruction, but these are things related to redemption. It's okay. So is it possible to bring the Omer offering? Is it possible to expand Jerusalem or add to Jerusalem with an offering of 2 loaves? Not the 2 loaves of Thanksgiving, but the 2 loaves of Shavuot. So the Gemara asks, in what scenario is this referring to? So the Gemara discusses why it is possible. The Gemara says it's permitted, possible, not possible, and so on. Since I see that people aren't keeping up, I'll make it shorter. And the Gemara says it's not possible. Why? Because the 2 loaves are brought on Shevuot, and the building of the temple is not postponed for it. No, we don't postpone, we don't do these things, we don't build the temple, and we don't expand Jerusalem. We don't do these things when the temple on Yom Tov. Yom Tov does not override this, nor does the temple, because the temple does not override Shabbat or festivals, as we know from the book of Exodus. And the Gemara, the conclusion there is that there is no building of the temple, there is no building of the temple at night. Building, as we read in the lesson on Sunday, the Gemara says there, what should we do? We will bring the offering of the 2 loaves. Yes, we will build the temple, we will build the temple. The Gemara says, we will expand the city, we will expand the wall. Yes. When? On the eve of Yom Tov. It says that on Yom Tov it is not possible. So we will expand the wall on the eve of Yom Tov. And we will bring the offering on the eve of Yom Tov, and we will bring the breads on Yom Tov. So they said it has to be at the same time. It has to be at the same time. The same time that the Thanksgiving breads are brought, the city must also be expanded at that same time. It is not possible to separate between them. So they said, let's do it like this. We will build part of the wall before Yom Tov, leave a gap in the wall, bring the 2 Thanksgiving offerings at night after the holiday ends, and then complete the wall. The Gemara says, at night. Like this, what? Because if we leave it for the next day, it's not possible. Since the food of the... Don't worry, after this I rushed with the lesson. 2 Todah, 2 Thanksgiving offerings. The Korban Todah, the 2 loaves can be eaten. It's only his sacrifice. That's in the morning and evening. It doesn't carry over after that either. It can't be eaten the next day, so it can't be offered the next day either.
A day and a night.
So a day and a night. So we can't leave it for the next day. So what should we do? Let's build the wall on the eve of the holiday, leave an opening. At night we'll bring the sacrifice on the holiday, and then at night we'll complete the wall, so it will be on the same night. Right? The Gemara says the temple cannot be built at night. It's not possible to build the temple at night. So I contradict the Gemara in Tractate Rosh Hashanah, page 30. Because the Gemara in Tractate Rosh Hashanah, page 30, says that there is a case where the temple will be built on the 15th of Nisan at night. Yes. So it's a contradiction. Rabbi Meir says in Tractate Ta'anit, page 30, that it is permitted to study topics that cause distress over the destruction. Analytical topics, meaning difficult subjects, are permitted to study. So these are things that are not understood. So according to this, it turns out to be a contradiction. Yes, is the contradiction understood? Of course. In Tractate Rosh Hashanah, on page... And in the Tractate, so it's also a matter of the building of the temple. Look there later at the Gemara. So Rashi says here on the Gemara in Tractate Rosh Hashanah, page 30, Rashi says, Rashi brings this Gemara and raises a question saying, is it not that the temple cannot be built neither on a festival nor at night? So he says, that applies to construction by human hands, but the future construction will be by heaven. He says that the building that is destined to come in the days of resurrection, the 3rd temple, will be built by heaven. The Holy One, blessed be He, sanctify us all to you. Therefore, the temple will be built on its own. So because of this, it is permitted to build the temple, the 3rd temple. There is a possibility that it will be built even at night, even though normally one does not build the temple at night. This is only when it is built by human hands that it is forbidden to build at night. But when people come, and when the Holy One, blessed be He, builds the structure from heaven, then there is a possibility that the temple will be built at night. Yes? There is a famous question from the Chatam Sofer. The Holy One, blessed be He, fulfilled the entire Torah. I won't get into all of that right now. Anyone who wants to, it's not so difficult to resolve this question of the Chatam Sofer, but I'm not going to do that with you right now. And also the Tosafot in Tractate Shevuot, the Tosafot in Shevuot also say there is no temple, etc. and so on. And they also say this and bring this verse from Mikdash Hashem Konenu Yadecha. From here, we learn that when the Torah says, when it is written in the Song of the Sea, Mikdash Hashem, established by your hands, it is brought that the 3rd temple will be built by the hands of the Holy One. Blessed be He. Up to here is the Gemara. And based on this, the Ra'avan explains, the Ra'avan, one of our early sages, says this is what is meant by, may the temple be built speedily. What does this mean? When the temple will be built, people will not even notice that the temple is being built. In the blink of an eye, in a single moment, the temple will be built. That is why it is written, the temple will be built speedily. That's what he says. And this matter contains a very great secret in the words of the Holy Zohar. The Holy Zohar, in the portion of Balak. So I won't read to you from the Zohar. Zohar, in the portion of Balak, when a certain Gentile came, it was 610. Around that time? Yes? 710, yes. So a Gentile came to Rabbi Eliezer the Great. Rabbi Abba, Rabbi Shimon says that a Gentile came before Rabbi Eliezer the Great and said to him, he challenged him. He said he challenged him with 3 questions. Let's mention the first question. And from the words of the Zohar there, it seems that this Gentile was very confident in these questions. He says, don't even try to answer me. This question is so strong that you won't have anything to reply. Before Rabbi Eliezer could even be answered, he instantly turned him into a pile of bones. Then Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai gave the answer. But it's worth it. But this is taking revenge. So he asked the following question. The Torah, it is written in the Torah, it is written in the Torah, it is written in the prophet Haggai, the glory of this latter house shall be greater than the former. When they came to build the second temple, the prophet Haggai came. Haggai the prophet was one of the last prophets. At the end of the era of the prophets, at the beginning of the building of the second temple, Haggai, Zechariah and Malachi. And Haggai says, the glory of this latter house shall be greater. This second house that we are about to build now is greater in glory than the first house. So he says, excuse me, it is written here that this house, the latter one, is greater than the first. So he says that there are 2 buildings. He does not raise the question of there being a third temple. He says there will not be a third temple, even though, yes, that's what he says, and he really argued a lot about this question. As we said, what happened in the end was that he turned him into a pile of bones, and he responded. He says that, in fact, the Zohar explains here a very significant formulation that changes the perception in many ways regarding this matter. We all know that there was the first temple, the second temple, and that there will be a third temple. According to the Holy Zohar, there is no such concept as a third temple. What does that mean? The third temple is the first temple and the second temple. It is written in the Holy Zohar that when the Zohar says that when the Israelites left Egypt, the Holy One wanted to make them like the holy angels in the land of Israel. He intended for them to live on that same celestial level. And he wanted to build for them a holy house. He wanted to give them the temple and to bring it down for them from the firmament above, to bring it down for them, to build the temple in the heavens and bring it down here to earth. And he planted for us, for Israel, a holy pillar in the likeness of the supernal image. And he wanted to engrave the people of Israel in the image, in the supernal image. This is what the Holy One, blessed be He, wanted to do when He built the first temple, when the people of Israel left Egypt. When Israel left Egypt, God took them out to give birth to a new nation, wanting them to be like angels. He intended for them to be a kingdom of priests and a holy nation, living in the land of Israel under ultimate redemption. But how is this meant to happen? In what way would this be expressed? The people of Israel enter the land. God would have sent the temple down from the heavens, preparing it for the earth, so they would reach complete rectification. And because of this, those who angered the Holy One, blessed be He, in the desert, died. And He gathered them for Himself, and the Holy One, blessed be He, brought His children into the land. He brought their children into the land. And the house will be built by a person. When they entered the land, their children entered, because the Israelites angered the Holy One. Blessed be He, with the golden calf, throughout the generation of the wilderness, and with the spies. Their children entered the land. They did not merit to enter the land. And the one who built the temple was built by human hands, not by the hands of the Holy One. Blessed be He. And so too afterwards they were exiled and returned and built the second temple. This means that the temple which the Holy One, blessed be He, built and prepared for the people of Israel when they left Egypt is not the temple it is not the Holy One, blessed be He. The people of Israel were not worthy of that level, to reach that high level, that the Holy One, blessed be He, would give them the temple from the heavens. And in fact, even at the time of Ezra, so he says, the Zohar says that in the future, the first and second temples will be revived by the Almighty together as one from above. These houses, which He intended for Israel during the Exodus and the time of Ezra and Nehemiah, who were worthy of redemption, will be united. Just as Hezekiah was great during the first temple, the Almighty will now join these 2 sanctuaries and bring them down to Israel as the third temple. And essentially, the third temple is the second temple, and the third temple is the first temple, and the second temple joined together. The first temple is hidden, the second is revealed. That future house will be called the second temple. It will be revealed to the world, along with the sovereignty of the Holy One. Blessed be He, so all see His greatness. Complete joy and heartfelt vision every day. These are the Zohar's words. We'll focus on these matters regarding the first and second temples, the hidden house, and the third temple's rectification. Essentially, one early authority says the temple will be built by human hands, right? That the construction of the temple will be from heaven. As we saw in Tana Devei Eliyahu and later in Rashi, according to the words of the Gemara, that the temple will descend from heaven, right? There is another opinion among the early authorities, the well-known view of the Rambam. What does that mean? The temple must be built. We have a commandment in the Torah, a commandment among the 613 mitzvot, mitzvah number 21 in the Rambam's list of commandments, to build the temple as we were commanded, that we should build the temple. How then will the temple descend from heaven? The Rambam writes this in the Laws of Kings. His approach is well known. All right, let's not get into that. That essentially, when the Messiah comes, the King Messiah will come in order to build the temple and to gather the exiles of Israel. The purpose of the Messiah's coming, in fact, comes from the words of the Rambam, that the Messiah will come and build the temple. So the temple will be built by a person, by the Messiah. And this is actually according to the words, of the Gemara in Sukkah. In the Gemara in